You guys hadn't seen this one in a while, huh? This is the V2 SonicWake from Proboat, okay? This is my second hull, my second V2 hull. The first one, I beat it all to HCL-HC. Speed runs, bashing, so I had to get another one. I went ahead and got it ready to run, but I installed a 160 firma on this one, okay? And I actually put the 1600 kV 4068 out of the jet stream in it, okay? And I was able to run 6 and 8S all day long, okay? But when I put like some really aggressive props that like for speed, I would still get the power cut with this 1600 kV motor. Yeah, so I got to thinking. I was like, well, let me find a cheap motor that we could possibly run 8S on and basically put any prop we want to on the boat. So I think this Offshore Electrics rocket motor may do the trick, okay? So I went with a 4082 1280 kV, okay? A lower kV, should have plenty of torque. I got the included jacket that comes with it, okay? It comes with the motor. I could have got the long jacket, but I think we would have had to do some modifications in here. So I just went with the included jacket. We'll see. We'll see. Got the 6.5 connectors to go with it and a TFL. Well, it's an Offshore Electrics branded TFL 1450. Stick around. Big B. What ironclad RC. Yeah, I really think that this is going to be a good motor, man. I do. I hope. It's heavy. It's got a lot of copper in it, you know. Also got this X452 with this lower kV motor. We might be able to run this on 6S, maybe. Real quick, you know, short burst, just have some fun bashing. It's a big prop, you know. So yeah, that might be fun. That might be fun. So I'm actually going to go ahead and get these connectors off and get the new ones soldered up, okay? Because the 160 comes with a 6.5, and these just ain't gonna fit, you know. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get that taken care of. I also just noticed this, and I don't have another drive dog handy. I mean, I do. It's this small one, so we're gonna run this little one for right now. But that one there don't last long either. It usually cracks with the big props on it. One of my teeth broke off my drive dog. I don't think I ever had that happen before. That's a first. I've had them crack like back here on the well, looking at it like this, the front side of the drive dog. I've had them crack, but I never had a tooth break off. That's a first. So yeah, oh, I do have a drive dog. Oh, I do. Yeah, okay. So this was sent to me from Neil in my little goodie box. So yeah, that right there might be better suited, and this right here will be better suited for this one that's going on the Blackjack 24. So that actually works. So I'm gonna get all that straightened out. Oh yeah, look what I found. I found the V1 Mad Lizard mounting plate for the TFL Stinger. So in the description, I'm going to include the version 2 TFL strut base for the V2 SonicWake. It's a Mad Lizard custom Stinger base that basically mounts on the stock mounting holes, okay? I'll have that in the description. It's from Offshore Electrics. Easy peasy. All right, got the 6.5s on, okay? I got this water jacket we're going to throw on there real quick. Well, let's get some Vaseline. She uses Vaseline. Don't want to tear this O-ring. All right. Probably going to use this new cable grease I got from OSE. Alright. Get this on there. Nice and easy. Okay. That looks good. Let's go. Alright, let's go ahead and get this guy right here off. I got a new coupler we can use too. Well, probably use this one, the new coupler. It's going to be too long, and we'll have to cut the stuffing tube, and I just don't feel like messing with it today. Probably should, because it's an Octura coupler, and it would be great, but it's a little long. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this coupler here off. Okay, go ahead and put it on here. I need to get some Loctite for the screws. What's going to be the best way to mount this? Before you mount your motor on your motor mount, I would actually recommend throwing your motor in the boat and see which way or how you should like get the wires orientated in the boat. So my wires are rather short, so I need to put my wires on the top side, like so, you know. So this shaft is long on this motor. I think we're going to need to cut it down real quick. Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and use my Dremel cutting wheel, and I'm going to cut it a little bit short. Probably cut it right there. Yeah, see, now I can get it where it needs to be. Okay, so I got my receiver in here. I actually pulled the box out, the receiver box, because I didn't think it would fit because the motor's longer than the stock one. Okay, so probably just balloon my receiver, something simple, you know. I got everything plugged in. I got some 6S packs in here, and I was just checking my motor rotation before I got any farther, you know. Just in case I needed to spin this motor, like one click on the motor mount, so I can get these wires a little bit higher. It actually worked out pretty good though. Yeah, got a hard bend in them right here. I hate that, but I guess we could. A lot of guys put this ESC on the flood chamber wall so the boat self-rights, you know. This motor is heavier than the stock motor, so we may get self-righting now. Possibly. Okay, so I went ahead and marked, I pulled my strut off, okay, and I got my stuffing tube marked where I need to cut it at. Gonna cut it on this back line. This is the Mad Lizard V2 mounting plate version 1. Okay, so we're going to do that. I need to re-shim this stuffing tube retainer. So I used a piece of silicone, the same kind of silicone tube we use for our cooling line. I used that to shim it. The only thing about that cooling line, it tends to split. So what I'm going to do this go around is I'm actually going to use some heat shrink. I'm just going to cut a few pieces of heat shrink and layer it. Maybe use a little bit of CA in between each layer so it don't slip off or anything. But I think I'm definitely gonna use heat shrink this time. All right, so I cut my stuffing tube here. Okay, and I hope I can pull this Teflon liner out. Yeah. I'm going to try it with no Teflon liner. I'm going to try it. Stock stuffing tube. Why not? Let's give it a shot. We'll see if it works. I really freaking hate Teflon liners. I mean, it sounds so good when you use a Teflon liner. It really freaking does. Man, it's so smooth sounding. And sometimes you can get no Teflon liner to sound smooth. And sometimes they're a little loud, you know, but I prefer not running a Teflon liner. I prefer it. So I'm just kind of cleaning up the end of my stuffing tube. Got this tube cleaner. Put in there. I usually hit it with that, and then I hit it with a file real quick. This right here as our gauge on how many heat shrinks we put in there. Probably take 2 or 3. So I have a bunch of this blue. I have a ton of blue, and it'll kind of match the boat a little bit. So we'll use the blue. Okay, so basically going to put it right there. I think I am going to CA the first piece. A little bit of CA around it so it don't slide around on me. Alright, like that. And then I'm going to shrink it down. I'm going to put another one on there. Hope the CA don't catch on fire. Alright. Like so. I'm going to put another one on. Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, that fits perfect. You see that? Yeah, boy. 3 pieces of heat shrink. So I got to finagle this in from the inside. Going to be kind of tough. I may just put a little bit of oil on there and slide it in. Only thing about putting oil on it, it possibly will move around once we get it in there. So I got to get it in the hole. So I got my Mad Lizard TFL stinger here, and I got everything Loctited. Okay, I got all my screws Loctited, and I'm about to put it on the boat. Okay, I got a couple of long screws here, longer than stock. But I did want to mention this. With this stinger, you're supposed to like loosen this up and adjust the positive and negative like right in here, right? And I do that occasionally. I adjust my stinger, like minute small adjustments right here. Okay, what I did is I took this piece right here off, this clamp, and I took my needle file and some sandpaper and I sanded the inside of these 2 flanged pieces off. I sanded the inside, so whenever I put this screw in there, it'll grip onto this barrel. So now I can slide this forward and back, crimp down on it, and it'll keep my tune. You know, every now and then I do have to kind of mess with this, but I mostly use this. I also, the main reason I sanded and filed the inside of this is because my barrel was wanting to back off on me. So I since put a little bit of blue Loctite in here, modified this, and it works really good. Okay, so I've actually got some grommets here, assorted grommets, and I like using these for different things. Sometimes I keep them stock for through holes like cooling and stuff, but it also is a replacement for the stock through hole grommet right here. But like this stinger is going to mount up here, right? So what I did is I put one of those grommets on this punch right here, and I took my scissors and razor knife, sandpaper, and I cut one of the flange sides completely off, and then I cut half of this side off. I took my sandpaper and kind of tried to profile it. It ain't got to be perfect, but I'm basically going to slide it on my stuffing tube right here, like so. Okay, I got it to where it fits this part right here perfect. That way water don't get in here, push through my stinger and in my boat. Okay, and it will help keep grease in the drive line, you know, with it press fitted on that stinger right there. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this all bolted up. So maybe you guys can see it. I got that grommet cut. It's not pretty. Okay, I used to use silicone cooling line stretched over the stuffing tube, just like I did for the retainer inside the boat. The problem with this silicone cooling line, it works, but only for a limited amount of time. It ends up splitting because it's stretched onto the tube. So I went with the rubber here and the heat shrink on the inside. Trying something different. Silicone works. You may need to replace it every now and then, but just trying to keep water out, grease in, you know. Okay, so I got my retainer in, I got my coupler Loctited, the motor is mounted forward and aft here. Cooling lines are plugged in. I had just enough cooling line to make it to the nipples there. All right, just enough wire to make it to the ESC, and the stinger is installed. Okay, I'm about to cut the new cable. Before I did, I was just checking my prop and where it lands at with the this is an adjustable stinger, and you can unscrew the barrel, or you can screw it in to make it closer to the transom or farther from the transom. So I unscrewed it a few turns earlier, and it's behind the rudder. It's behind the rudder here. We'll have a little gap. Might work. I'm considering unscrewing it one more turn. 1916. Yeah, I think that'll be good. Kind of want to unscrew it. Let me unscrew it one or two turns here. Got to loosen this guy right here up. Better. That looks a little bit better. With the stinger, running larger props, I don't really have an issue with the props hitting the rudder. If you're running the stock strut with, say, a 50mm prop, and you know you got upgraded electronics, then you're probably going to hit the prop. Now, a quick way to get the rudder away from your propeller is to move it to the other side. Now, for some reason, I want to say this particular boat come with the rudder offset to the other side. The original V2 I had, it was on this side. I switched it over to the other side, and I actually put a shim in between it to get it farther from the prop, because at the time I was trying for speed. I was running, like, you know, some very aggressive ABC props. You know what I'm saying? So a little tip for you, maybe help somebody out. My cable wasn't quite lining up to the motor earlier. Okay, it was, my stuffing tube was a little bit too low. So I took the stuffing tube out the retainer, and I cut a piece of this heat shrink. Okay, basically slid a piece of this heat shrink, just like it is, just like you see it, shorter of course, under the stuffing tube, sat the stuffing tube back on top of it, and then put my retainer back on, screwed it in, and now, well, you guys, I don't know if you can't see it. You can't see it because it's actually under my stuffing tube. But now I got a perfect alignment. It's like dead nut center. It's perfectly lined up. Hopefully you guys understand what I'm saying. I tried to explain it the best I could. So I'm basically going to slide my cable in till it bottoms out. Gonna make sure it bottomed out here. It is. Okay. Now I'm going to mark it where I want the drive dog to be. Alright. Then we're going to measure it. Okay. Going to measure it right where the mark is. Go to the mark. Okay, go to the drive dog, put the mark on the drive dog, and then mark the cable. Alright, you guys see my mark there? See what I did? Okay, so now I'm going to cut it. I get a lot of questions about this, and I tell you what I use to cut my flex cable. Almost every single build video, it's just a cutting wheel for my Dremel. Okay, just cut it, kind of rounded the tip, and then we can slide that in. Okay, that's a little bit too long, so I'm gonna cut some off of it. I'll show you guys a little trick that I use all the time. When I have a cable that fits real tight in my collet and I can't pull it out, I could actually put a prop on here, throw a nut on it, and pull it right off. But this is what I use. I use these needle nose pliers right here. I put it in the drive dog and strut gap right there. Tap it from the underside so you don't mess up your hardware, you know. Boom. It'll tap it right out, you know, if you have a stuck cable or one that's hard to get in and out. Let's get some of this new hyper grease. It's actually pretty nice looking. It's like real creamy, you know. Grease it up. It's real sticky too. It's like creamy and sticky at the same time. I did away with the radio box. So I basically got my receiver and a 4th of July balloon. I'm gonna slide that receiver in the balloon. I rerouted my wires here. Make sure you don't pull your wires out. Got the 6500 4S twins in here. Everything's done. Got my balloon in there. Got the plumbing all plumbed in. Loctite on everything. I got that TFL prop on here. Okay, it's a 4614. So the cable actually sounds good. We just greased it up and everything. Actually sounds pretty good. Alright, so I got this 52 millimeter prop balanced up here. Let's see what it sounds like. Now, running no liner, I'm really taking a gamble. And on top of that, I have no idea where this flex cable come from. Like I said, one of my viewers sent it to me. It could be an eBay cable from China, or it could be an offshore electrics cable. But I'm kind of taking a gamble running this cable, especially with this bigger prop that I want to run on here on 6S. I don't know if it's going to take it, and when we do run it, it'll just be for a short period of time. Hit it, take a break, hit it. Oh, sounds good. Yeah, boy. Yes, sir, freaking buddy. Oh man, I'm freaking tickled to death. I am ready for this. So I'm going to be running the twin hydro next outing. I've got an XLX2 Hydra coming for that big boy. Working on the V1 Blackjack, and we'll probably end up putting a long water jacket on this motor. I'm going to need to modify the forward mount, do away with this clamp, install a forward motor ring, okay, support, and probably pull off of that forward post right there to get a long water jacket to work. But I think we're going to do that one day here shortly, possibly. Unless it just runs cool, then there's no need to do it. But I definitely think it'll help, you know, with the long jacket. Definitely need a forward support, because I really don't trust these 4 mounting screws back here. They strip out real easy. Mine are holding on by a thread, so it needs a forward support. This is a 1900 kV 4082 rocket motor, you know, and I've run it in probably 4 different boats. It's actually a pretty good motor. It's still kicking. That's saying something. I put it through its paces. I had an XLX2 on it and the Delta Force 35, and it took it. Now, they don't have real high RPM output like a TP motor, you know, but they're actually like stout little motors for the price, you know. I'm just kind of curious at how long this is going to last. Now, I stand by the 29 series motors, you know, like, yeah, I stand by them. Now, there's a couple KV options that I got that I didn't really like, and I knew that KV should have more output, like the 3380 2958. It's an okay motor, but it should have more RPM for that KV, you know. Certain wines do better than other wines, you know. They're basically, this is a Y-wound motor, you know, Y-wound, so we'll be able to shoot some timing to it. I'm going to start off with some low timing, and we'll see what happens, you know. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Sorry about the long video. I just wanted, hadn't run this boat in a while, hadn't done a bench video in a while. I just wanted to kind of walk you guys through a few things. Let's actually see if there's any grease coming out. Yeah, so that stopped it up. So if you guys are having grease coming out that stinger there, do something similar to what I did. I'm sure you can figure out a better way to do it. Everybody has their own way of doing things, but that will definitely prevent grease from coming out your driveline. So we'll see you guys next time. Like, comment, subscribe. Use the links in the description. It does help me out. Big B with Ironclad RC.